Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Baas McClelland.
And this is...
It's Movie Time.
It sure is. And it's time for a little indie.
Oh,
Lenny.
yeah.
The one we're doing today has been around about a week. It's called Beast. And it's at the only place you'll see it as the Gateway Film Center, which has now a world cinema commitment to making sure they show a non-American film every day of the year.
That's wonderful.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Beast.
Okay, who or what is the Beast?
Well, at least give me an idea of the general outline of the plot.
Okay. Is it Moll? She is a very fragile-looking redhead, but don't be fooled by her appearance. Why does her domineering mother keep her under such a tight leash? Is it Pascal? All blonde hair and big blue eyes, but he's a bad boy, an illegal poacher. And is he connected to the murder of 3 girls that happened recently on the island? Is it Moll's mother? Her relationship with her daughter is poison. And the story starts out, it's a big, grand, fancy birthday party for Moll. But she feels like a total outsider.
Well, now look she's not a kid. She's 27 years old.
That's right.
And she's not a raving beauty, which is uncinematic.
Yeah, she's very plain looking.
They're living on the island of Jersey, which is...
Where is that?
That's off the coast of France, but actually owned by Great Britain.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah, they picked the beautiful spot in that. So, what is the tension with the family, Linny? Why is it so difficult? She's 27 years old, after all.
But you get the feeling, well, you have to wait to find out that something has happened very dark and bad in her past. And the night of her birthday party, she just leaves the party, and she goes to a bar, drinks too much, dances with a man who later won't take no for an answer. And she is rescued by Pascal.
All right, so we have here a situation that any young woman listening to our show, and we applaud that woman, whoever she is, can fully understand the contrast, can fully understand the conflict between a parent's wishes and the young woman's wishes, and particularly when it comes to love. So you're right, an incident has kind of forced her to be with family, but there's no reason for them to treat her like chattel, for goodness sakes.
Right, yeah.
And when it comes then to her meeting this young man, the real conflict arises. They do not want her hanging around with him. He is indigenous. His family has been on this island for who knows how long.
Right.
He considers them outsiders. They consider him an outsider. Things are not good.
No, but of course Moll is instantly drawn to him. He makes her feel alive. She feels released from her controlling family. But they're both oddballs. I mean, she does not fit into this well-heeled family. One of the scenes is they're at a dinner party at a country club, and Pascal is a very naughty bad boy. Does things that really the mother doesn't like at all. And of course, as the movie goes on, the police zero in on Pascal as a strong suspect in the murder of these girls. But this isn't the driving force in this movie, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's her transformation into a totally obsessed woman, holding back in one scene and then totally coming unhinged in another.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think it's as much figurative about the place of a young person in the family, especially at 27, when she should be out of there. Anyone who has young people living with them who are turning into their 30s know that this is not a natural situation for them to be at home. So it brings all kinds of conflicts. And yes, the one that's going to trigger everything is going to be love. And then what I like about first-time director Michael Pierce's story, and he has also written it.
Right.
What I like about it, it's really a thriller.
Yep.
Because we want to know who's murdering these young women, but most of all, we want to know if it's Pascal.
Right.
And Pierce carefully crafts this film so that you don't know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And once that's established as the moving force of the film, I think, as you have said, then we're torn between an affection for the couple. We can see how they love each other,
Mm-hmm.
and yet a fear about the potential that he has for being the serial killer or for being abusive of her.
Right.
She's just simply not schooled in the ways of a violent world.
Right.
And so how do you end up
Even
feeling?
though that you think there's something very dark and scary in her past,
Yes, there is, and as the
I don't
story.
want to talk about it too much.
Of course not, but I think it's an important point about what I think to be the art of this film, is that Michael Pierce makes you wait long
Mm-hmm.
before you can even begin to resolve some of the issues. Our protagonists, each one of them, has a dark past,
Right.
and because of that, it throws a light on the present. We'd love to forgive everybody, but what the two of them have been involved in is serious business, and so we have a serious reason to worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
While at the same time, some of the lyrical shots, particularly high on the crags.
Oh, yes, it's just gorgeous. The crashing waves and the rock cliffs and
Yeah.
the dark forest. It's
Yeah,
a little creepy at times.
it's very romantic, and I think, and you're,
Excuse me.
me too. It's very romantic, and it's very terror-ridden.
Right.
And Pierce is careful to let you feel that fear by having you walk up to the tallest place
Mm-hmm.
on the island, probably, precariously watching these two,
Right.
both loving each other
Yes.
and endangering each
And
other.
even though you know that they're both scary, he still has you rooting for Maul. I mean, you want her
Yes.
to be in this relationship, you think, even though it might be scary and damaging. You want her to be there because she wants it so badly.
And you're right. He makes us want her to be liberated,
Yes.
perhaps because we understand for young people the need for them to be liberated from parents. I think Mom, Hillary, played by Geraldine James, is particularly effective
She's very good.
in being a menacing mom who
Mhm.
isn't quite as bad as she might be, because she does have a troubled child in this 27-year-old, and she has been letting her stay and been taking care of her.
But she's also taking care of her father, who has dementia, too. That's another reason she's in the home.
Yes, that's when Mal is there also
Right.
to be taking care of them, and sometimes, particularly when a boyfriend comes along, she doesn't always do that. So the same tension arises when she's not attending
Right.
to her very duty to
Definitely,
be
yeah.
taking care of the father.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Lenny, we're not going to talk about the ending,
No.
because this is both a thriller and a romance.
Definitely.
And we don't want to spoil it if our listener will be showing up at Gateway to see it. But do you have any feelings generally about the ending without revealing?
Yeah, I don't want to reveal anything,
I know,
because it really keeps you just riveted in your seat. You're so sucked into the story. My only criticism of it is, at times, the story was a little bit contrived and confusing. And the best example that I can give is, there are two actors who look so much alike. One plays her brother, Maul's brother, and the other one is a past boyfriend who is now a policeman who is working on this case, the murder of the three girls. And it was very confusing. At one point I'm going, which
know.
one is which? Who is who?
I'm so glad you said it, because I thought it was just me. Boy, I was really confusing these two characters. I'm beginning to think, Lenny, it was purposeful on the part.
Why would he do
Pierce.
that?
To use it in a more figurative way to suggest the interconnection between family and society, cops and I don't know, cops and unlikable family members, something along those lines.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure of that. I'm just saying, no director could be standing there looking at that and saying, wait a minute, these actors look a little too alike. It's going to confuse the audience. You just can't do that. Can't do the whole, or someone mentioning it to him without it becoming purposeful. But that's just Linny and Johnny sitting in the theater and grousing
Grousing.
and grousing
We're
about
good grousers.
Right. And as for me, for the ending, don't expect everything to be completely tied together in that ending. Don't expect it. I think there is an attempt to do so.
Definitely.
And I think you can take it as all, that's everything, that's the way it should have been.
And you can interpret it the way you want to sometimes.
Yes.
So
it's Beast. It is a romance, a thriller, a horror film, all rolled into one by a first-time director who I think has a lot of promise. So Linda Baas McClelland.
Yes, John.
The movie is called Beast. And what grade would you apply?
It's a dark story, and it's clearly not for everyone. No. And like I said before, the storytelling is a little uneven and at times a bit contrived. I give it a C.
Okay. And because I started initially being interested because I thought there was certainly going to be a reference to Henry James's short story, The Beast in the Jungle, which I love very much. And I still think there is a connection because that beast lies waiting and actually never pounces, but the major character is waiting for it to happen to him, and he pretty much fritters away his life and his love waiting for this beast, whatever it is. So I'm going to offer it a B+, because I believe that it's a really fine first performance by a writer-director, but mostly because, and I appreciate your C, and I think it is confusing, so I'm with you on that, but my B+ comes out of the fact that there are images and thoughts in that movie that I can't just easily brush out of my mind. It's a movie that moved me.
Yeah, that's because you're a bit of a beast.